Hi everybody, this is Ms. Kasperzik again, and for this week's assignment, we are going to be making found object presentations. I'm going to ask you to find an object in your house and present it as though it was a work of art. You might remember from our found object color wheels a couple weeks ago that found object is art that's created from undisguised but often modified objects or products that are not normally considered materials from which art is made, often because they already have a non-art function. The most famous example of a found object art piece in our history is this sculpture called The Fountain by Marcel Duchamp. It's from 1917, and it's really just a urinal that the artist turned on its side, put in an art gallery, and declared it was art. This sculpture made the entire world reconsider what art means. How do you know if something is art or not? And who gets to decide? For this week's assignment, you're going to create your own found object artwork. To start, you'll select an object to display as though it was a work of art. Whether or not you really think of it as a work of art, it can be a perfectly regular, everyday object. Then you'll take a professional-looking photograph of the object, and finally add a description as though the object were being displayed in a museum. So the first step is to select an object, and again, it doesn't have to be an actual sculpture or a painting. It can be any regular, everyday object that you already have laying around. Just pick something that you think is either beautiful or at least visually interesting. I went ahead and included this brainstorming exercise, which was actually from the printmaking unit that we never got to because of the stay-at-home order. But it's a great way to start thinking about objects that are beautiful or interesting or meaningful to you. So once you've picked an object, you're ready to start photographing it. I picked this little French press coffee maker that I think is really cute, and I'm ready to take a professional looking photograph of it. So you want to make sure the most important thing is to have a neutral background. You can create a neutral background by using either paper or a plain white wall, but I recommend using paper. And you'll also want to make sure that there is a strong source of light for your photograph. So I just put this desk lamp right next to my little setup. Find a place like either the wall against the floor or a table against the wall and set up your piece of paper. You can either use one long piece of paper kind of slanted onto the desk, or you can use two pieces of paper. Once it's all set up, take your picture. I actually recommend taking several pictures if you can and then picking the best one. And then if there are any outside details, like in my first picture there's a little bit of tape showing and the edge of my paper, make sure you crop those out. The third and final step is to add a museum description. This is all the details that would be listed on a little card next to this photograph if it was hanging in a museum somewhere. So list the artist who made the object, a title, you can get creative here, the medium, what is it made out of, the date, about when do you think it was made, and a description. For the description, I'm looking for a few brief sentences about what visual qualities make this object unique. An easy place to start is the 7 elements of art. Those are line, shape, form, space, texture, value, and color. Here is the museum description for my object. I listed the company that made it. The title, I didn't get too creative, I just listed what it was, what it's made out of, and circa 2016. Circa is the museum word for about. It was made about 2016. I don't know when this thing was designed, but that's when I bought it. And for a short description, I mentioned that it has all neutral colors, really sleek lines, and a nice balance of positive and negative shapes created by having both transparent and opaque materials. Here's another example of what the final product could look like. Again, you don't need to have anything fancy for your object. You can pick literally anything that you already have in your home. And at the end, just put your photograph and your description into a Word document, and that'll be due next Friday. I hope this assignment helps you to reconsider what do you think counts as art and what makes something beautiful to you. I'm looking forward to seeing how each of you answers those questions with your assignment this week. Okay, that's all I've got for you. I hope you guys have a great week. Bye!